Singapore has pulled off what many thought was impossible. From a small island nation with zero natural resources to now being hailed as the world's new economic powerhouse, it's a story that's rewriting the global narrative on success. While others wade through political gridlock and economic uncertainty, Singapore is surging ahead with unstoppable momentum. And just recently, Donald Trump, never one to hold back, reacted in a way that sparked headlines around the world. His words weren't just praise, they were a warning, a comparison, a challenge to other nations. So what exactly did he say? And why is Singapore suddenly the center of global attention? But before we dive in, if this kind of global power shift fascinates you, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to Globe Wander, and let us know in the comments. Which country do you think will surprise the world next? Singapore's rise to global economic stardom didn't happen overnight, and it certainly didn't happen by accident. This tiny nation, barely visible on a world map, has become the blueprint for how visionary leadership, national discipline, and relentless innovation can defy geography. In just a few decades, Singapore has transformed itself from a struggling port town into one of the most advanced economies on the planet. Its streets are spotless, its airport is unmatched, and its financial system is admired and trusted globally. Behind this meteoric rise is a government that planned with military-like precision, investing in education, infrastructure, and future-proof industries like AI, fintech, and biotechnology. The results speak volumes. Singapore now boasts one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world, with citizens enjoying a standard of living that rivals the most developed Western countries. Donald Trump's recent reaction to this transformation wasn't just a soundbite. It was a loaded statement with global implications. Speaking on an international business panel, Trump applauded Singapore's bold approach to economic reform and governance, calling it the smartest country doing business right now. His tone was almost admiring, but laced with criticism for other nations that, in his words, waste their potential on bureaucracy and weak leadership. He pointed out how Singapore cut through red tape, fostered loyalty to excellence, and turned itself into a magnet for investors and global corporations. To Trump, who built his brand on business strength and deal-making, Singapore represents the kind of focused ambition he believes is missing from many modern governments. Without naming names, he drew a contrast between Singapore and countries that have become bloated, confused, and too afraid to compete. This moment is significant not only because Trump is a former U.S. president and global business figure, but because his words reflect a growing recognition in the West that the balance of economic power is shifting. Where once the world looked to London, New York, and Tokyo, today there's increasing attention on Singapore. Its neutral diplomatic stance, rule of law, and investor-friendly climate make it a hub not just for Asia but for the entire world. It has secured trade deals, forged cutting-edge research partnerships, and developed an education system that produces globally competitive talent. Singapore doesn't just survive in the global arena, it dominates by being smarter, faster, and more adaptable than most. This kind of global influence has geopolitical consequences too. Trump has often spoken about the importance of allies who pull their weight. In the context of Asia, he's made it clear that Singapore is one of the few countries that consistently steps up, whether it's by hosting historic diplomatic summits or playing a key role in regional security frameworks. He views Singapore as not only a dependable economic ally, but a strategic counterbalance in a region increasingly influenced by China. That level of trust and collaboration isn't easily earned, and it speaks volumes about how far Singapore has come. Meanwhile, nations that fail to offer stability or strategic value are, in Trump's eyes, slowly becoming irrelevant in international decision-making. The reaction from citizens around the world has been a mix of admiration and introspection. Many are now asking, how did Singapore do it? And more importantly, why can't we? What sets Singapore apart isn't just its success, but the fact that its journey offers lessons for other countries stuck in cycles of corruption, poor planning, or short-term thinking. It's not about having oil, land, or a massive population. It's about vision, accountability, and execution. Trump's comments, as controversial as they may be, tapped into this growing realization. He's effectively saying that Singapore isn't lucky, it's strategic. And in today's hyper-competitive world, being strategic is the new superpower. Singapore's success is especially striking when viewed in contrast to countries that once had bigger economies, larger populations, or richer natural resources. While they stagnated due to infighting, outdated policies, or lack of direction, Singapore streamlined its institutions and kept its eye on the future. Trump's praise, in this case, is a reflection of that discipline. His statement wasn't about celebrating size or dominance. It was about celebrating competence. He admired how Singapore made tough decisions, stayed corruption-free, and built a country that multinational companies and top talent now actively seek out. This has sparked conversations from Wall Street to Westminster, from Silicon Valley to Seoul. As the world grapples with inflation, tech disruption, and rising geopolitical tensions, Singapore is being studied like a case study in modern success. Trump, ever the provocateur, used the moment not only to give credit but to throw shade. He criticized the lazy mindset of certain leaders and warned that countries that don't innovate, educate, and eliminate corruption will be left behind. It's no longer enough to rest on past glory. The world belongs to nations that are hungry, focused, and unafraid to evolve, like Singapore. And that's where we are today. Singapore has become more than a country. It's a symbol of what's possible. Its transformation is being talked about in boardrooms, classrooms, and presidential speeches. Trump's reaction wasn't just admiration. It was a wake-up call, a signal to the rest of the world that the rules of the game have changed. If nations don't adapt, they won't just fall behind. They'll become irrelevant. Singapore's rise isn't just about economics. It's about identity, purpose, and what can happen when a nation commits fully to becoming something greater. Trump's reaction wasn't just political theater. It reflected a broader truth that many are starting to accept. Singapore is no longer the student in the global classroom. It's becoming the teacher. And the world is taking notes. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to Globe Wander, and share your thoughts in the comments. And until the next time,